Hello, my name's Ali Dunhill and I'm a non-resident fellow of Trends Research and Advisory. I'd like to introduce Achaleke Christian Leke, who is the Commonwealth Coordinator of Youth Peace Ambassadors. One of the things I'd just like to explore a little bit more from the event really was what was your experience of being here with a range of young people from all over the world, with young Emiratis as well. You know, here in the UAE, having a conference on youth in sustainable peace. 3 weeks after the UN Youth Strategy has just been launched, this is such a timely, and very, really important issue to discuss here.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I must say it's been very amazing. Coming to the UAE, it's a huge inspiration because looking at what happens within this space from outside, you would hardly think there's a lot of investment in young people. You would think it's a very patriarchal community, but sincerely, it has been a real an eye opener and a space where I've learned a lot to see that young people have actually been part of leading change within the country, and the leadership of the country really trust in young people. And another inspirational part of it is that we just recently had the youth strategy and launched the missing piece of the UN Security Council resolution on youth peace and security. And this is the first event which I've attended that is actually reflecting on it. And coming from the UAE, I think it's a huge inspiration the world has to copy. That we should not wait for so much time before we start acting. The action is immediately after. And it's really a pleasure to have learned a lot from amazing young people sharing experiences and having to meet people who are very passionate about young people despite their age, because sometimes we close ourselves a lot on the age margin. But I learned a lot about the youthful spirit. So I think it's really really inspiring, and it's a message which have to take to young people across the Commonwealth and to young people in my country, to say that we have a mighty support from this part of the world. We have a lot to learn on how young people should be put at the forefront of the conversation of development and peace.
I was really inspired by the language and the professionalism that was presented at the event today. And one of the, I explained that I described you and introduced you all as young people, but I then wanted to call you all experts, really, because your expertise came across so strongly today, so, as I said, so professionally. And the participants, the audience, were really engaged with the conversation. Now, at the forum, you started the forum off, and thank you very much for doing that, because you were part of creating the UN Youth Strategy, you were part of the Missing Peace Report. How does it feel as a young person to be in these within these positions? You were invited in, you were accepted as an expert, your voice was listened to. How did it feel?
Well, I think it remains an inspiration because I always draw back from where I'm from, and it's a story which I always tell because it connects me more to young people. I have a background of violence and from a community where people hardly think something good could come from, and working so hard to connect with my local community and serve them and design programs for young people. I think getting to the level of engaging in policy conversation starts with the trust that we've had from people who are older than us, and that's why I reiterated a lot around my conversation to say when you can trust one young person, it means we can trust 10,000, and if we trust many more young people, will have amazing results. And I'm able to do work back home because I've been trusted even at the international scene, and it's a message which I must carry to my peers. It's a message which I must tell to the elders to now give us a space for us to contribute. And being within that space, it has been working with amazing mentors from different international organizations, from UN institutions, who look unto us not just as young people coming to learn, but as partners. I think it's something which has been so powerful, and getting to work alongside with Jahadma, the UN Youth Envoy, was so touching to see that despite the level at her leadership, she connects with us young people. She talks with us, and that's what we need to write back home. So being within that space and influencing policy to me is very important. But The most important is being able to ensure that we implement, and that's why I had to make a clarion call to the UAE leadership structure to ensure that these resolutions should not just be talked about, it should be implemented. I think the UAE should reflect around setting up a national coalition to implement this resolution because it's a key aspect. I'm already doing that in my country with my peers because it has to be a youth-led driven movement, but the government has to support, and institutions like Trend and others need to push this to get to where it has to
Yeah.
get to. So I'm very, very inspired about
Yeah.
that.
I think one of the things that came out of today really was that every young person that presented wanted to keep a connection with everyone here. You've created a network, and one of the ideas from today was about growing that network. How can we grow that network? So I'd like to thank you very much for presenting today, both on the panel and on the forum, and thank you very much for spending time and sharing your inspirational stories with us.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure. Thank you.